Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. As we're inching closer to our 60th anniversary of independence, I'd like to share something from Nelson Mandela. He said, "For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others." I'll let you think on that. In the meantime, we'll get into today's show.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. What's in Jamaica 60? Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up. Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence. A whole way of celebrating it. They say the people them, them come here, But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal, panta fight, medal. Amount of tongue we give them, The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report. On site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it pre. Activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration. Yeah. I don't know the app to get the updates then.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, June 7, 2022. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, now has a newly refurbished polygraph unit to vet new recruits, as well as those seeking readmission, promotion, and assignment to specialized units within the force. The unit was refurbished at a cost of $92 million and unveiled on Friday. The project was undertaken through partnership and funding from the International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Section of the United States Embassy in Kingston. JCF officers were also trained in the specialized area. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says the polygraph unit plays a key role in strengthening and maintaining the integrity of the JCF. He adds that the unit's vetting process supports the work of the Ethics Committee, which investigates unethical and corrupt behavior.
But it's a very useful piece of equipment. And those who are trained to use it and ask the right questions prove very effective in screening our recruits, and it has a broad role to play in the investigative arm of the police.
24 additional police stations will be outfitted with electronic devices for the recording of reports, complaints, and administrative entries. This will be done in the coming weeks as government builds out the station records management system within the Jamaica Constabulary Force to replace the manual station diaries.
Every station have 19 of these things. 19. This is the big one they call the station diary. There's one for the prisoners, whatever they come, the lockups, the food they eat, everything. There's one for asset, and there's 15 others, so every policeman know. They learn to write in these things, and that's how you keep police records, vital legal document. Been going for years.
The system was implemented at the Harborview Police Station in May under Phase 1 of the program. Meanwhile, the National Security Minister says 400 body-worn cameras have been deployed across 16 locations island-wide. This financial year, an additional 1,000 cameras will be deployed across 120 police stations. In other news, summer 2022 is shaping up to be the strongest summer that Jamaica's tourism has ever seen, exceeding 2019 pre-pandemic figures. That's the word from Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett.
All the bookings and the indications are that we are going to exceed 2019 levels in this summer. And we are conscious of the importance of this as the economy, not just of the world, definitely of Jamaica, faces its challenges. And tourism has that special capacity to drive economic activities in so many key areas.
Minister Bartlett asserts that a strong summer for tourism will also be a boon for sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, transportation, and the small and medium enterprises that feed the tourism experience. The minister made his remarks on the weekend as he welcomed American Airlines' inaugural once-weekly direct flight from Austin, Texas in the United States to the Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay. An unemployment insurance scheme is to be submitted to Cabinet for approval shortly. Labor and Social Security Minister Carl Samuda made the disclosure during his ministry's recent Labor Relations Awards banquet. The idea for the scheme was recently announced by Prime Minister Andrew Holness during his Labor Day message. Minister Samuda says it is a priority for the government as the administration works to strengthen the national legislative framework for labor market resilience.
We have taken definitive steps to make it a reality in the near future. The International Labour Organization has supported the feasibility phase, and we have a preliminary design of the scheme. It is my expectation that we will shortly be able to make a submission to Cabinet for its approval.
Unemployment insurance aims to protect employed persons against the risk of job loss and facilitates access to partial income during spells of unemployment. The feasibility study on unemployment insurance was undertaken by the ILO and the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, with input from several government ministries and stakeholders. The first two phases of the feasibility study have been completed as a precursor to implementation, with the third and final phase now underway. The Labor Relations Awards banquet was held to recognize the contribution of 25 individuals and 5 organizations for long and dedicated service in the field of labor relations. It also featured the presentation of a maquette of one of Jamaica's pioneer female labor rights activists, Agnes Aggie Bernard, by the Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Grange. The first cohort of 500 students is expected to begin training in software design and programming starting this October at the Amber Hart Institute of Coding. A Memorandum of Understanding MOU has been signed between the Amber Group and the Hart NSTA Trust to formalize the establishment of the institute. This follows the successful pilot involving 100 young people under the Amber Hart Academy. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who witnessed the signing, hailed the initiative as revolutionary, adding that it aligned with the digital transformation thrust being pursued by the government. He says the partnership between the Amber Group and the Hart NSTA Trust represents innovative thinking in training and development and aligns education to industry needs.
This is but one of the projects that we are working on to truly create the digital society. It's a very important part of the digital society thrust because there is the need for the link between machine and function that cyber artificial intelligence.
The first batch of trainees under the pilot phase of the initiative recently graduated the intensive 6-month program, which was taught by a team of highly qualified master coders from the Amber Group. That was followed by a 6-month internship program where they developed software programs alongside senior developers. The successful graduates are now NCTVET certified and have been employed by the Amber Group, Digicel, and National Commercial Bank. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging Jamaicans to be prepared for the hurricane season. The 2022 Atlantic hurricane season started on June 1, and already the first named storm, Alex, has caused flooding in Florida. Mr. Holness is calling on Jamaicans to start putting together their preparedness plan in the event of a hurricane. Part of that plan, he says, must be to secure important documents such as land titles, passports, and birth certificates.
You have to put aside some water, drinking water. I know things expensive, price gone up, and all the issues, but still put aside a couple gallons, liters of water in case. Put aside some food that don't require refrigeration and are non-perishable. Put those aside. Look around your community to see if there are any trees or anything else that could become a danger to your housing.
The Prime Minister was speaking on Friday as he handed over a 2-bedroom house to Seaview Gardens resident Collington Graham. The $5.8 million dwelling was built in 4 weeks and is one of the homes being provided by the new social housing program. Mr. Graham was living in a derelict building that was damaged by fire in October 2020. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Here's a look back at the range of activities that took place in the office of the Prime Minister this last week.
Prime Minister signs NIDS pilot project with deposit-taking institutions, issues 128 land titles to St. Catherine residents, and breaks ground for $1.2 billion BPO complex in Manchester. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Vaughn Davis.
Ensure that the promise of digitization does result in a reduced banking cost to the average citizen. We are doing our part with providing the NIDS to reduce your cost of verification of identity. Give some reflection of that to our banking customers.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is charged to deposit-taking institutions attached to the Jamaica Bankers Association. He was speaking as government signed a memorandum of understanding with the association to undertake the piloting of the identity verification and authentication services of the National Identification System NIDS. At Friday's signing, Mr. Holness said the pilot will improve the ease of doing business on the island while advancing Jamaica's quest to become a digital society. This, as the NIDS card will be the only identity verification document needed when doing business with the banks. By Friday afternoon, the Prime Minister was in St. Catherine, where he handed over 2 dwellings under the new social housing program, NSHP. At the first stop, North Central St. Catherine resident Beverly Toban received a 3-bedroom dwelling. Mr. Holness hopped over to Northwest St. Catherine, where he delivered a 3-bedroom house to Ivy Smith. Mr. Holness said houses under the program are now being built at an average cost of $5.5 million, a sharp decline from the $8 million that was once the standard. The lower construction cost, the Prime Minister says, has allowed the state to build more NSHP units.
As we have improved the process, we're getting the prices coming down. So we're confident that we can still go a little bit lower, but not much lower. We would have to change the nature of the construction and the technology involved, which we are planning to do, so that we can build more houses with the fixed resources.
Mr. Holness said a private sector entity has agreed to build houses in support of the NSHP and urged other companies to come on board. Thursday saw the Prime Minister in Manchester, where he broke ground for the $1.2 billion Bloomfield Professional Centre. The complex is being built by K&T Development with support from the Development Bank of Jamaica. To be built over the next 18 months, the complex will provide 80 square feet of BPO space, a daycare center, cafe, and 20,000 square feet of parking. Mr. Holness welcomed the new development, saying 300,000 square feet of space will be provided for the BPO sector in this year. He adds that the industry has grown from only providing call center services to knowledge-based support services, which include data mining, programming, coding, accounting, medical, and legal services. In the meantime, the Prime Minister said plans are in place to increase the number of persons employed to this sector by engaging unattached youth through the Heart NSTA Trust.
Before, to get into Heart, you had to have a grade 9 education at least. We have removed that. So now Heart is open to all of those youngsters who you see on the yang and driving around, and those who are in scamming and those who are in crime. There is an option for you to get into the formal economy via the route of training.
The Prime Minister was back in St. Catherine on Wednesday, where he handed over 128 titles to residents who've occupied the lands. It's part of the National Land Agency's systematic land registration program. Under the project, persons who have lived on uncontested lands for the past 12 years are eligible to apply for a title. Mr. Holness says government would be supporting the issuing of more land titles by increasing the commissioning of land surveyors. The Prime Minister says additional technology will be integrated as the state expands the land registration process. And a bus has been procured to accommodate registration of land in deep rural Jamaica.
I am confident and I feel very happy that we now have a system in place that is going to ensure that every square inch of land in Jamaica falls under a register, a public register, that secures the property rights and interests of the persons who own it.
Back in Kingston Wednesday afternoon, Prime Minister Holness witnessed the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the Amber Group and the Heart NSTA Trust. The agreement formalized the establishment of the Amber Heart Institute of Coding. It follows a successful piloting of the institute, which involved 100 youth. And come October, 500 youth are expected to get training in software design and programming at the Institute of Coding.
So this is revolutionary in that we are putting the needs of the industry first. If we're serious about growth and development, we have to do more of this.
And at Jamaica House early Wednesday, the Prime Minister engaged newly appointed United States Ambassador to Jamaica, Noah Nicholas Perry. Ambassador Perry, who is Jamaican by birth, was confirmed in March. Prime Minister Holness and Ambassador Perry discussed issues of national importance, including security, strengthening economic relationships between the two countries, and achieving prosperity for the people. And earlier in the week, Prime Minister Holness paid tribute to former Prime Minister Edward Seaga on the 92nd anniversary of his birth. Mr. Holness participated in a floral tribute at National Heroes Park on May 28, and on May 29, he attended a Thanksgiving church service in honor of Mr. Seaga. He told the gathering that plans were far advanced to develop the 35-unit Victoria Villa housing scheme in Denhamtown, Kingston. Mr. Holness said ground will soon be broken on the Rasta City housing development, and upgrades are in the works for Board Villa in West Kingston. The new schemes, the Prime Minister revealed, are in line with plans Mr. Seaga had for the constituency, which he served from 1962 to 2005. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
As the world evolves, so does the frequency of health-related issues. Hand, foot, and mouth disease is one of the most recent mentions, and here's how it spreads, how we can control it, and protect our children.
Viral illnesses continue to feature prominently among the disease burden of the world's human population. These viral diseases, which usually spread from person to person, are considered contagious. Some may cause serious sickness and death, while the effect of others may be mild. For example, the hand, foot, and mouth disease, Hfmd for short.
Hand, foot, and mouth disease is caused by a family of viruses called enteroviruses, and once we get those, they can spread through coughing, sneezing, through the infected stool and blisters that children may have. Infants and young children, usually less than 5 years old, are more likely to get this disease. However, older children and even adults can also get it.
Hfmd can also spread through close contact, such as kissing and hugging. Initial signs of the disease include a fever, poor appetite, sore throat, and a feeling of being unwell. These symptoms generally last for 1 to 2 days before a blister-like rash appears on the hands, feet, and in the mouth. The rash initially emerges as small red spots, but then develops into blisters. The blisters may develop on the gums, inner cheeks, and tongue, and patients may complain of mouth pain and a sore throat. Young children tend to drool and avoid swallowing and may refuse to drink or eat because of the discomfort. This can lead to dehydration, the main complication of the disease in children.
These symptoms in adults are pretty much what we see in children. Now, the complications are not as obvious. Well, certainly dehydration. Adults can go and get fluid through their thirst mechanism. So we don't see that a lot.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness has been proactive in its surveillance and ensuring the public and stakeholders, like the early childhood institutions and daycare centers, are aware and able to respond effectively. The ministry recommends that children with this illness be pulled out of school, nursery, or daycare until they are better.
You get infected and you show signs of the disease maybe 3 to 5 days. And then the course of the disease is about another 5 days, 5 to 7 days. Some persons it may be a little longer, and of course in others it may be a little less. We want them to stay home because we know how easily this disease can spread. They are advised to take, of course, their paracetamol, acetaminophen. Mommy or daddy may consider tepid sponging. But if the fever is persistent, it's high, you're not being able to control it, if the child is dehydrated now, there is very little urine, the tears are not there, there is no more saliva, then the child is dehydrated. And those are signs that you would take the child immediately to a health facility.
Measures used to reduce the spread of COVID-19 are also useful for preventing hand, foot, and mouth disease infections.
It's all about keeping the environment clean and preventing further spread. So we continue to advocate for the washing of hands frequently and thoroughly prior to meals. Of course, if it's the young child and you're changing the diaper, it is the secure disposal of the diaper, washing hands, cleaning and disinfecting high traffic areas and surfaces with soap and water.
Early childhood school administrators should ensure that toys and high-touch areas are regularly cleaned and disinfected, as should parents at home.
It's the same high-touch areas, all of the toys, everything would need to be cleaned properly. You wash with soap and water, you use your bleach, usually your 1 in 10 dilution to wipe down surfaces. Of course, some of the things, it's dependent on the manufacturer, what cleaning agent you are able to use.
In rare cases, the virus which causes hand, foot, and mouth disease can lead to a medical emergency.
There are, however, some very rare complications that persons may experience. Viral meningitis, which is an inflammation of the covering of the brain, or even an encephalitis, which is a inflammation of the brain itself. But those are very, very rare conditions with hand, foot, and mouth.
Prevention of diseases is important to our well-being. So we must always be vigilant for this and other viral disease, practice good hygiene, and stay in good health.
Jamaicans consume on average 9 to 12 grams of sodium or salt per day, twice the World Health Organization recommended amount of less than 5 grams or 1 teaspoon of salt, and more ideally, less than 2 grams of sodium per adult per day from all food sources. This excess salt in the diet causes high blood pressure, kidney and bone damage, gastric cancer, obesity, and worsening of asthma. Reduce the amount of salt you consume to no more than 3 to 5 grams, or half to 1 teaspoon per day for adults, and less than 2 grams for children under 11 years of age. Let's shake the salt habit and live healthy. A public service message from the Jamaica Information Service.
Psychological health is an underserved aspect of children's health. How they are mentally and emotionally determines how they live as children and, in the long run, the impact they have on society. Here's how the CPFSA is rolling up to address this concern.
On the outside, it looks like any regular 30-seater coaster bus. Once inside, you quickly realize that there's more that meets the eye. Welcome aboard the CPFSA Smiles Mobile. The Smiles Mobile is a retrofitted 30-seater coaster bus. On board we have 2 confidential counseling areas where both officers sit. We have refrigerator and microwave on board. We have a sink area for the kids to wash their hands. We have filing cabinets where we store our files. The main objective of the Smiles Mobile is to screen those children who fall within the child protection system. And so we carry out our screening and interventions right across the length and breadth of Jamaica. Today we've joined the CPFSA Mobile Mental Health Unit at one of their sessions at the Glen Hope Nursery in Kingston to witness how the Smiles Mobile provides a convenient and confidential safe space for these wards of the state.
Welcome. Come on in and have a seat. Today we're going to be doing some coloring. The children love the bus. When we visit the facilities, they're very excited. As you can see, it's very colorful, it's child-friendly, it's air-conditioned, and so it's a lot of comfort for them. And we provide this safe space for them so they can come on and express themselves, and we provide the necessary interventions as well.
All children within the state's care should be screened on an ongoing basis, and so we screen children on an ongoing basis. We have our regular screening where we screen selected facilities based on presenting issues, and we also from time to time have to respond to matters that are current in the news. So say for example a child was affected by crime or violent situations, we will go in and screen and do our interventions. We use several screening tools or instruments. One of our main screening tools from it was established in 2013 have been the Strengths and Difficulties Questionnaires, the SDQ. We also have an internally developed mental health screening tool, and this is a structured clinical interview that we do with each child. And we have several instruments from time to time to screen for anxiety, depression, and several other mental issues. Our interventions are informed by our screening results, and so from time to time we may have to have interventions with the staff. We have psychoeducational interventions with staff, to enhance their capacity to deal with the children that we have, and sometimes we have individual interventions with the children on board, of course, and we also have group modality intervention. The Mobile Mental Health Unit currently uses 3 Smiles Mobiles to provide therapeutic services to the 52 government and private child care facilities across Jamaica. Over the years, they have made progress and are seeing great results.
Well, we have seen a lot of positive results where when we do the screening and we identify the issues and we provide the interventions, we see where it has helped them greatly, where children have gotten better grades in school, there are less issues within the facility in terms of behavioral challenges and mental health issues. So the interventions have been really helpful.
And that's all we have for you today on the CPFSA Smiles Mobile. Our tour of the bus ends here, but its journey continues, bringing smiles and much needed therapeutic support to children in state care.
This is where we wrap for today. It's always a pleasure sharing with you. For more information, visit our website, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on social media. The hardworking team here at the JIS thanks you for your continued viewership. And until next time, I'm Theodore Henry. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.